everybody, this is Stephen Howson and this is the Sunday paper review. How are you all doing on what is a pretty sunny Sunday afternoon? So I've got the Mail and I have got the Sunday Mirror today, and I've gone through and I found a couple of decent stories. I'm just going to check the audio. Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson and this is the Sunday paper review. How are you all doing on what is... Why does it sound like it's peaking again every bloody time, innit? Is that any better? Hopefully that's a little bit better. So yeah, we've got the Mirror and I've got the Mail, and we're going to talk some shit, and we're going to talk about Perisic. We're going to talk about all sorts of different stuff. Just going to check the audio again. Any better? Hopefully that's a little bit better. I don't know why it needs unplugging and plugging in every single bloody time. What a fucking nightmare this is. Anyway, so yeah, thank you guys for joining me on this Sunday afternoon. We're going to get stuck into some of the headlines that are in the papers. We're going to talk about some of the big things that are being discussed in and around the world of Manchester United. And then we've got an announcement about Patreon as well. It's not that I'm not a tech guy, it's that the tech doesn't fucking work. Trust me, when you go live, everything can go wrong. It's easy to record something and then throw it up offline, isn't it? But when you're trying to do things live, things get complicated, and when stuff breaks, it breaks properly. If I was editing a video, you'd never notice, would you? So, right, the big one that stands out is West Ham United. On the back page of the Mirror, talking about Jaap Stam being a possible replacement for Slaven Bilic at West Ham. Now, Slaven Bilic's situation at West Ham is another one of those where I think it's a little bit of a case of clubs being a little bit giddy and possibly getting rid of people, possibly over-egging what they was going to achieve this season. And you think, yeah, he did well with them last season. There was a couple of people did well last season and have faltered a little bit this season. But there's too many good managers, and there's too many top managers and not enough success in the Premier League this year. I think every single owner and every single team and club and everybody needs patience. If you can ride it, if you thought that was the guy for you 12 months ago, then surely you still think he's the guy for you. Back your own judgment, back the guy and plough through it. And while everyone's sacking everybody left, right and centre, stability is what's going to win out, I think, in the Premier League, in this crazy race that we find ourselves in at the moment. I honestly think that's the crack. I honestly think that's the crack with the way it goes. So, you know, that's one of those, isn't it? Right, so Jaap Stam, the way he's been dealing with stuff at Reading, he's doing all right. He's doing a pretty decent job. He's got them quite high up in the Championship. I don't have the league table to hand, actually, but I do know that the last time I checked, they was quite far up in it. I'm going to check it while we're on here now. They are fifth with 38 games played, couple of points off Leeds in fourth. There's like two teams pretty much running away with it, but they could end up in third place. They're in the playoff spot, so everyone's a winner. We'll see what you guys are saying in the comments in a second. But what do you guys think about that? About Stam to West Ham? I like the way Jaap Stam's career has gone so far. I like the way that he's gone about it with a no-nonsense thing. He's not gone and gone, I'm Jaap Stam, European Cup winner. I deserve a big club. He's gone in quietly, gone about his business in a no-nonsense manner, the way he used to defend, and he's doing it with results. And now that's going to attract attention from people that are looking maybe to replace somebody, and West Ham might be the sort of place. I do fear if Jaap Stam goes there, he might actually really turn those around, and then we might have another team to worry about in that top 5, top 6 of the league, and that's getting a bit crowded up there, isn't it? Unimpressive Gamer says chairman needs to realise that consistent success is almost impossible and give their managers a chance. If they are consistently failing, then get rid of them for sure. I agree on that. Yeah, it's sometimes obvious, isn't it, who's a complete failure and who's not a complete failure. Andre Augusto says you can't have patience in today's game. I disagree. I absolutely disagree that you can have patience, and I think patience is what's going to really show people the future. If everyone's sacking everyone and no one's getting success, then what does that tell you? It's wrong. Andre Augustus says, I think Stam will do a great job at West Ham. I actually do as well. There's also mentioning that Defoe's going to be starting for England on the back page. I find that quite interesting, and do you know what? I think that's also correct as well. In the comments, Jack Brown says, Giggs thinks he has the right to go to a big club straight away. What are you basing that on, mate? Are you basing that on the newspaper reports that say that he's gone for this job and he's gone for that job when actually that's not necessarily the case? I know that he wanted some jobs that has come out and said that he didn't want, and I also know that he didn't even go in for some jobs that he was down as a forerunner for. So I know where he's aiming to go, and I know that there's some clubs that he wants to go to, but most of them are Championship clubs, to be honest. I don't think there's any Premier League clubs that he's interested in going to. So, I guess we'll see. Robert Smythe in the comments says Jaap Stam would really help West Ham as he can sort their shaky defence out and then focus on attack. Ricardo Luke says Giggs hasn't said shit. Yeah, Giggs hasn't actually said anything, to be honest. Valid Chima in the comments says thoughts on the Express saying we're leading the chase for Mbappe. That smacks of bullshit rumours to me. In fact, let's talk about Perisic actually, because Perisic, there was a lot of rumours that Jose was going to be going there and swiping this one up. Jack Brown rejected Swansea supposedly. I know the truth about that, and it wasn't that. I think that the Perisic thing is interesting if it's true, and I think there's probably at least an element of truth. I don't think Jose Mourinho just bisses off to Croatia on a whim, like he said, to go and see his friends. I think there's too much work to do at Manchester United for him to just decide he's going to piss off on holiday. Giggs did want the United job, but you can't blame the guy for trying to get the United job. I think that he probably did go and either scout or go to have a word with him. This happened with Dortmund, didn't it, in about January or February last year, and it was obvious that was the Mkhitaryan deal. Now, in hindsight, that was happening. If let's just play the presumption game. If he's gone to go, I keep smacking this. Kicks me hand. That's really annoying. I bet, innit? I'll get rid of it. If that's what he's done, let's presume that that's what he's done. He's gone to Croatia to either speak to him or scout him firsthand. Then what's that mean? It means that, for me, Perisic is a left-hand-sided attacking player. He can play down the middle, he can play on the right-hand side. I think he's more of a left-sided attacking midfielder. He chips in with goals, he chips in with the occasional assist. He's a good footballer. Where would he fit into this Jose Mourinho side? If he comes in, I think that sounds the end of playing Martial and possibly Rashford on that left-hand side. Does that then mean that you might see them alone up front or possibly together up front? Maybe. I think definitely maybe. Does that mean that Zlatan won't be extending his contract then, if that's the sort of... You have to think that all of these are knock-on effects. You can't just hoard 5 left wingers and 10 strikers and 47 centre-halves and 19 left-backs. You can't. There has to be a management in a squad system, and there has to be a hierarchy of... I think especially in Jose Mourinho teams, if he's fit, he plays. That's Zlatan at the moment, that's Pogba at the moment, that's De Gea at the moment. I don't really know who it is in defence at the moment, apart from Valencia. There's a certain if he's fit, he plays sort of thing throughout the team. And I think we need 2 or 3 more of those if he's fit, he plays type of player. Perisic might be that player on the left-hand side. Now, as someone in the comments has mentioned, he's not that glamorous a name. He's not that glamorous a footballer, but he's a bloody good footballer. I think it's very interesting. And it'll be interesting to see how this comes along and what it means for the team going forward. There's something in the mail actually that I do want to talk about. If everyone's watching, can you please drop us a like? That helps it get found, and please give it a share. We're at almost 400 watchers at the moment. It'd be nice to get to about 750, I reckon, on a Sunday afternoon. See what's popping. I found a very interesting article. I was on XS Manchester on Thursday night last week, and I mentioned everyone playing free at the back was like rolling back the years, 20 years to Glenn Hoddle's England. And then I opened the paper this morning, and Glenn Hoddle has got a nice explanation a little bit of 3 at the back and how it works and how he does it with the midfield. I quite like 3 at the back. I play it sometimes on Football Manager. I like to maybe utilise it in a more of a WM formation, which I do that to try and replicate what the Busby Babes sort of played. Not any other really specific reason. But I don't like it at Manchester United with this team, with this current set of players, for various reasons. I don't think we've got the right personnel to play it. He's talking about it there from an England point of view, and he speaks about it from his England management point of view, which is quite interesting, the way that he discusses it. I'll read a couple of excerpts from it, because I do think it's quite pertinent, the stuff that he's saying. And he talks about the fluidity that it gives you and a tactical fluidity, and I agree to a certain extent. But I also think you can get overrun massively in midfield. That's why I like a three-man midfield. The problem is that he says we had a couple of great games that people remember, and then he mentions 2 draws. He says we had the 0-0 in Rome against Italy, which secured our qualification for the World Cup. Obviously, yeah, that was a good result, but you're talking about draws. And then the 2-2 against Argentina in the last 16 of the World Cup. Yeah, we went out on penalties. But we played most of that with 10 men. Was it most of the game? Was it not in the second half? I'm sure it was in the second half that Beckham got sent off, wasn't it? Do you know what? We can't be having these questions linger around when we have the internet at our fingertips. Let's have a look. I don't know when Beckham got sent off, but let's see when it was. I could have swore it was later on in the game that Beckham got sent off. I know it was 2-2 when he went off, and it stayed 2-2, I think. Obviously, it ended 2-2. Just after the break, Beckham was dismissed. Yeah, and I knew it was in the second half. So it wasn't mostly, I suppose with extra time, it was most of the game, I guess, wasn't it? But there you go. Let's get back on here. But yeah, it's interesting that he talks about 2 draws, and then he goes, he mentions that they had Stuart Pearce, Gareth Southgate and Martin Keown as the back three, Phil Neville and Lasso as wing backs, Beckham and Ince in central midfield, Scholes playing behind, Ian Wright and Teddy Sheringham. And what strikes me when you read that team out, now I don't think Phil Neville and Graham Lasso are going to be adorning the Hall of Fame anywhere soon, nor Gareth Southgate, nor even Martin Keown or Stuart Pearce. But the midfield and attack, that's a good attack. Sheringham and Wright, when you compare what the England lineup's going to be today, and actually there's a predicted 11 in the Mirror from Robbie Fowler, and he predicts his England 11 here today, and it's just shit, isn't it? It's just uninspiring. So there's the England 11 that Fowler has predicted. So it's Joe Hart, Walker, Stones, Michael Keane, Bertrand, Dyer, Lallana, Dele Alli, Vardy, Barkley and Sterling. And you think the England teams of the 90s was just, even though they were shit, they were littered with top players, wasn't they? And then you look around, and I'm not even talking about your Spains and your Germanys. I'm talking about, look around at the Belgium team. Look at the France team that hasn't travelled. Look at the France team that hasn't been selected for this weekend, and tell me that that isn't twice as good as this England team that has been selected. It's shite. It's absolutely terrible. And then you can go into the greater depths of why is it shite? Where do you go from with this, and how do you improve the England side? As I said, most United fans, most of you guys probably watching right now, don't give a flying fuck about the England team. But ultimately, I want English football to do well. Whether that means winning stuff and all the rest of it, yeah, I'd not necessarily support the team. You're not going to see me standing there singing God Save the Queen and all that a lot. But I do want to see English football do well on a world scale. And you say, right, well, who's to blame for the poor deployment of English players? And I think there's such a lack of English players in the Premier League. I do think that's an issue. But it's a meritocracy in the Premier League. If you're good enough, as Marcus Rashford has proved, you get games. But it's not the case at every single club. A lot of clubs, there's always pressure on. Manchester United's academy is failing. Manchester United academy is one of the best academies in the world, right? The fucking world. And you can argue all day long about whether you think it's as good as it used to be. Is it producing Messi and Ronaldo? How many academies are producing Messi and Ronaldo? Not many, yeah? So to say you're not producing a Ballon d'Or winner every single year is fucking ridiculous, because no one does that. But when you look at what other clubs do, look at Liverpool's academy. It produces fuck all. There's some seriously big academies up and down the country that just produce nothing after nothing after nothing, and no one says a goddamn thing. Manchester United consistently produces, but people can't wait to fucking snipe at it and take jabs at it and all that shit. It's a joke, innit? My guy in the comments here, JJ says we need James Milner. The fact that James Milner is a consideration for the international team makes me want our own cup, to be honest. It's an absolute joke. Let's see what some of you guys in the comments are saying. It's not just England. I think the Brazil side isn't as good as past Brazilian sides. International football isn't as good as it used to be. Why do you think that is? Do you think that domestic football has overtaken it? Do you think that the regularity of the Champions League and the fact that we get to see, Real Madrid go up against Bayern Munich, and we get to see Paris Saint-Germain and Juventus and Barcelona and all of these teams really going at it on a regular basis means that it draws our attention more? Because, like you said, it's just a stroke of luck if you end up with a group of players that are really good, like maybe France have got at the moment, or maybe Spain have got at the moment, or Belgium have got at the moment, or even Argentina. Argentina's team's fantastic. Is it just a stroke of luck, like you get a load of players that come through like that? And it'd be great if we could see Argentina and Germany going at it on a yearly basis. It'd be great if we could see Spain and Italy going at it on a yearly basis. But I had a ticket for today, and I didn't want to go. I got offered a free ticket for the England match today, and I was like, nah, no, I don't want to go. Why do I want to go watch England against Lithuania? Like, I don't give a fuck about England, and I would have to Google half the 100% of the Lithuania team. Why are we playing? Shouldn't we maybe... alright, is it like the magic of the FA Cup where, Sutton and Burton can break through and they can play against these top teams? But isn't it bullshit that when do you ever see the top seeds not qualifying? You get a couple, don't you, that maybe come second. But basically, the seeds go through all the time. Is it better to maybe go with a Copa America route where you see the top teams have to play each other because it's a league system and then the top half go to the finals? Is that a better system? International football's fucking boring because no one gives a fuck. Oh, who've England got? Slovenia again because we get them in every fucking World Cup. Oh, and we're playing Malta and San Marino. Oh, why should I give a fuck? And then you wonder why you're not prepared when you go to a championship because you spent all your time playing against fucking part-time farmers and milkmen. International football is fucking dying on its arse. And it's a joke, innit? Unimpressive Gamer says the problem is that English players are only concerned with playing in England. Nobody ever plays in the rest of Europe, so they'll never play that international environment. Yeah, I think there's an element of that. I think that, but also because the Premier League is so good, so watched, so rich. Why do you want to go abroad? A lot of the players that have come to England for the money. Let's not play any games. They've come for the glamour of some of the big clubs, but they're also coming for that massive paycheck that they're getting. Something is inherently wrong with English football, says Jordan Griffin. There's probably more than just something. There's probably several things. Footy Pro says, how can England be expected to do well when they don't even have the backing of their fans? I agree. And, I hold my hand up. I don't give a fuck about England. I've never given a fuck about England. I'm United before England every single time. And maybe that is a problem with it. But it's difficult to even give a fuck about a team where 80% of the players, 90% of the players, I spend all year hating. Even the Dutch side now is whack compared to past sides. Yeah, I'd go with that. England need to play a more attractive style, an attacking style of play. I sort of agree with that, but I don't think that's going to make much of a difference to everybody. I think they need to play a real English style of play. Why are we trying to say, let's do what they're doing, let's do what they're doing? In the mid-noughties, English football dominated Europe, mostly playing the English style of play, or an English style of play. And the England team always tried to play this continental style of play. United was shit in Europe the first few years that we went into the Champions League because we tried to play a continental game. In 1999, we didn't play a continental game. We said, guess what? We're going to turn up, we're going to whip our dicks out, and we're going to piss all over the lot of you, and we're going to win the fucking lot. And that was what England's team needs to do. There's no coincidence that Leicester are doing quite well in the Champions League this year because they're playing the Leicester style of play. The English style of play. Even in the Premier League, it's snuck in a little bit. You're playing an English style of play, and it was successful from last year. Now, fighting on two fronts with Europe, that's obviously hard for them. But, Colin McMahon says, compare English fans to Irish fans, and you'll see that England fans are the most unloyal pricks alive. No offence. No offence taken, mate. I don't care. I don't take it to heart. If I pretended I give a fuck about England, then yeah, you might see me upset. But yeah, I actually would enjoy if I was able to have the crack that the Irish fans have with their national team. It looks fucking great. Brazil the same. Most patriotic, loyal country that you can find. It looks fantastic. You've seen what the Irish do in MMA when Conor McGregor fights. It looks fucking brilliant. It looks like a right laugh to be a part of. But England and the English fans, They don't have that warmth. It's fucking bizarre. It's fucking bizarre. When me and Statman Dave went to Celtic for the Celtic and Barcelona game, we went in a pub called the Surrey Head. And it was a cracking pub. People were singing the songs, mostly IRA songs, but people were singing all the songs. And they was talking to me and Dave, a couple of English lads, that was like, yeah, we're just here to come and watch the football. Like, who's your sport? Like, oh, but United, yeah. And they didn't give a fuck. They was like, oh, fucking nice one, let's get you drinking. The load of Barcelona fans come in. And you can see my match, if you go look at my match day vlog, you'll see, like, people are buying the Barcelona fans drinks. They're like, yeah, fucking come in, get on it with us. That's how sport should be. There shouldn't be this fucking massive animosity between the fans. I really don't like it. It does build for a good atmosphere sometimes, but not all the time. There's no need for be violent aggression, fucking shouting, "Wang, I'll fucking see you outside," and all. What are you doing? But yeah, there's just no warmth to the England fans. Like, as we've seen, singing about a fucking war that none of them fought in. That just sums up England fans. 2 World Wars and 1 World Cup, and not one of you had for any fucking part to play in any of that. Not even as fans, really. How many of the 66 fans that was there at the ground still go to the game? I would imagine very few, if any. Who do I think will win the World Cup next year? Fuck knows. You have to support your country. No, you don't. How about that? No, you don't. You don't. Why do you? Do I have to support my country when they're doing dressage? International football might as well be another sport to club football. It's so alien. I like the players that play for Manchester United. So I feel more of affinity. Oh, Argentina are playing. There's a couple of lads that I like there. Oh, Spain are playing. We've got a couple of lads that I like there. I like watching some international football at the very highest level. But when it's fucking whoever against Malta and San Marino, and I don't mean any disrespect to those countries, but let's face it, they've got no right to be playing at the same level as these lads. And if you, like, would the Champions League be as interesting if fucking Droylsden drew Real Madrid? Or Burton Albion drew Juventus? Because that's the level of difference that you're looking at from some of these international teams. It's hard for the players to get up and get asked about it, and it's hard for the fans to get up and get asked about it. I don't think that's the fundamental reason why Manchester United fans don't really give a fuck about the national thing. But it's weird. I don't think Manchester United are alone as well. Liverpool are a bit like that as well. I think it's probably because of where the most support for the national team comes from. It's a very southern thing. It might be a southern versus northern thing. Because I think a lot of northern clubs don't really follow England, to be honest. It definitely is a London thing, mostly. Logan says a Champions League medal is better than a World Cup medal. I'm not sure, actually, about that. I'm not sure if that's the case. I think a World Cup medal still might be the pinnacle. But unfortunately, the World Cup only comes around every 4 fucking years. England would have been far more successful if they'd have given Kevin Carrick more opportunities. I'm not even that overly asked about whether England are successful or not. It's just the fact that the format of international football just sucks, doesn't it? And the attitude of the England fans, those that watch England, it's just not a warm atmosphere. Like Colin said in the comments a second ago, when you look at how the Irish fans are and how inclusive all that lot is. Me and Adam went on Remembrance Day to watch England versus Scotland, and I felt I'd snuck in somewhere I shouldn't have been allowed. That's what it felt like. I should be able to go and watch I went with an open mind. Otherwise, I just wouldn't have gone. I just wouldn't have gone. So I went with an open mind and was like, right, let's see what this is. And I just did not feel any affinity with the people that were sat around me whatsoever. There's people standing up singing God Save the Queen, and I'm cringing like, fucking hell. The Scottish fans looking like they're having a good time. The England fans just being fucking strange. And I felt no connection. So you can't tell me that I have to support this team when I feel no connection to the players on the pitch and I feel no connection to the guys in the stand. I would have a much more enjoyable time trying to find a fucking tedious link in my history and my genealogy to go and watch Ireland and have a crack with them where they're having a good time. Now, you can't say you're going to support in Ireland to be a Glory supporter, could you? And I don't support Ireland. I don't really follow any international team. Because they're not going to win fuck all either. But ultimately, you're going watching football as a leisure time because you enjoy football, and you're going to enjoy football more if you're having a good time. That's why watching United's good, because we have a good crowd, despite some of the myths that you get around Manchester United's crowds. The Ireland crowd, no, they're not on their own, looks like a fucking good laugh. The German crowd looks like a good laugh. The Dutch crowd looks like a good laugh. Most crowds actually look like a good laugh. England's just fucking Stone Island wearing divs, innit? We should play the qualifiers at different stadium while Wembley is full of boring twats. Do you know what? There was actually a real vibe about English football for a little bit when they was moving around the country. I cared about England for that little bit of time when Beckham scored that goal against Greece to put us in. That felt like it was more a national thing, didn't it? It's just, the London thing just fucks you off, doesn't it? Mr. Stevenson says he's unsubscribing. Well, see you later, mate. We should play at different stadiums. I've read that one. We should have a World Cup every 2 years. Fuck the Euros. That might be a better option, to be honest. A World Cup every couple of years might be a better option. Here is the actual lineup. What time? I don't even know what time it kicks off. See, I really don't even care. Just seen the lineup on Twitter. The starting 11 is Hart, Walker, Stones, Keane, Bertrand, Dyer, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Sterling, Ali, Lallana, Defoe. See, how many of those players don't even play every single week for their club side? Well, I suppose possibly Oxlade-Chamberlain being the only one, but do you know what I mean? It's good to see Michael Keane progressing in his career. There's a lot of history revisioning going. Am I pro or anti-Brexit? I was anti-Brexit. I see being European as part of my identity as a person. I was really pissed off with the Brexit thing. You could see the likes of Defoe, Livermore. Yeah, that players picked on form. Players being given an opportunity. I like that in a sense. There's a lot of history revision around Michael Keane. Michael Keane, when he went, no one cared. Let's face it. He was a young player with good prospect, looked good in the youth team, but it wasn't like Tuan Zabi where people are going, oh my fucking God, give this guy a game right now. That wasn't happening. He was a good player. He thought he'd go on and he'd do somewhere, and he did. But, no, like I said, a bit of history revision him, like the MEN again, saying Louis van Gaal's biggest ever mistake. Well, it wasn't at the time. A player developed with game time. Like we always say, players given game time at 20, 21, 22 in the first team, at whatever level, is going to really benefit them. 0 United players. Yep. Lallana, most overrated twat, says Hushy Love. Looking forward to the 48-team World Cup. Again, no, because that's just lowering the standard, isn't it? It's meant to be the top level. If everyone in England was united, maybe we could start caring about England again, possibly. Bring back Keno to United. That's a bold move. You ever see United St George Cross banners at England? You never see United St George Cross banners at England matches, do you? No. Like, I have the Yemeni flag on my Twitter thing, and people go like, oh, why have you got the Yemeni flag? That's a United flag in my eyes. But yeah, you don't see St George Crosses at Old Trafford, and you don't see St George Crosses at England matches with Manchester United on them. You see Henderson's Town, Sheffield Wednesday, you see Millwall, you see West Ham, you see Crystal Palace, you see all of these little clubs. You don't see United Liverpool. You don't really see Chelsea, although I do know Rory Jennings from Chelsea Fan TV. He follows England all over the place, and that's his thing. He gets it, and I don't argue with him about it. I say, oh, cool, that's your thing. Crack on, mate. But I'm not going to pretend to care about something I don't. Stephen Dawson in the comments, I agree. Couldn't give a fuck about politics now. They don't listen to the people. They have to live through the decisions. Oh, I think that's the Brexit thing. Jake Lorenz says, as an American, I love our national team, basically just because we're never going to win anything. England puts too much pressure on their national team. Actually, I think the American national team is a really interesting thing because you have all your insular sports. You have your NFL, your NBA, your NHL, and all the other shit that you have. And they're all just, that's you, innit? That's just your sports. And the dream team competes at the Olympics and knocks it out of the park every time. Whoop, they fucking do. Kind of bullshit that they even are allowed to compete, to be honest. But all of your sports, the biggest thing that happens in their sport is the Super Bowl, the playoff finals, all that sort of stuff. So for MLS, American soccer, the fact that there's a thriving sport outside of what just you American guys are doing, I can really see how Americans would massively get behind an American national team. It's a pretty mediocre team, but you know what? It's probably in the top, 20 teams in the world, I bet? Somewhere around there. I think America could overtake England just because of the sheer numbers of young players that are coming through and the well-established college system, which really gives opportunity to young footballers, which is sort of starved in England. I don't agree everything with the draft. I don't think it's a perfect system, but I think it's something that should be maybe looked at for English football if you're going to do that. I think it's massively interesting, and I can definitely understand why Americans get behind their national team, because you don't really have the opportunity to get behind your national team in many other sports, really, do you? Interesting. Yahiko, England actually have good players. Their performance is what shit. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Not like we used to. Some of the players that we used to have in England that couldn't get games for England versus who plays regular and who captains this team is a joke. How many players United signed in the summer? I don't know, probably a handful. Ecstatical music. From Manchester myself, now live in Spain. I can tell you that the Spanish love the national team, with the exception being Barca versus Madrid player rivalry. As soon as Spain flags come out everywhere. Do Barcelona support the national team though? Because I thought there was the Catalan separatist movement. Favourite Roses song, Waterfall. United and Liverpool are bigger than England, bigger clubs than the rest. Yeah, it's probably down to that. Colin McMahon, most Ireland players come from different clubs but still get on with each other. Why do I think this is? I don't know. I also think, well, yeah, obviously you've had over the years United and Liverpool players all the time in the Irish national team. I don't know. And obviously the fans mostly support Premier League teams, mostly Ireland, United and Liverpool, and have always seemed to have still had a good crack when it comes together for the national team. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Do I think Fosu Mensah may end up going out on loan next season? I think he just needs games, and that'd be a good option for him yet. Would I rather England win a major tournament or Liverpool win a major honour? Oh, definitely I'd rather England win a major tournament. I don't want Liverpool to win a fucking throw-in. So, no. Yeah, of course I would rather England win it. I just, I'm not gonna pretend that I've ever been a massive England fan. I will go and watch football when they're playing if I can get there and I can be arsed. Like, I couldn't be arsed going and watch England and Lithuania today. Like 5 hours down there drive, 5 hours drive there back. Fucking 10 quid for some chips in Wembley Stadium. I couldn't be arsed with it. But yeah, no. Chamberlain is another Walcott, possibly. How is there pressure in England now, though? They're a joke. Everyone is laughing at them nearly every tournament. All the fans know what's going to happen, so where's the pressure? There's still pressure and expectation, though. Despite the fact that they're super shit, people still expect ridiculousness from them. It's absolutely madness, isn't it? GJno says, I support Portugal with my heart, but I love United as well. I love how Lingard... I love Lingard, but how is he in England international? Well, he's a good squad player. He has his... Like I said, he's not a Ballon d'Or winning player. I can definitely see, he's not starting tonight, is he? Or is he? I don't think he is. But whatever. Valid says, I'm American, but I'm an England fan. You're fucking strange, mate. Make America England again. Should we get that movement started? I think they've got more guns than us now. Definitely got more guns than us now. I've just seen a question about Ola Sunday. Let me try and find that. Do I think Ola Sunday has a chance to be the left back for the US someday? Was a right back, for starters. And I haven't really been impressed with him massively playing for United's under-23s. Really raw. Not really sure what he's in the squad for, so I can't say I do, really. As an Australian, I love our team, even though we are shit, but why do we have to play Iraq, Iran and UAE? The only team worth watching us play is Japan. Do we need to split... There's a reason that the 92 teams in England are split into 4 leagues, the 92 professional teams, isn't there? Because there's a difference in quality. And let's face it, there is, isn't there? There is a difference in quality. Do we maybe need to start tiering international football? Do we need to have international football Premier League and international football First Division? Do we need to start doing that? Because like people are saying, it's bullshit watching you play against teams that just are never going to win. Didn't like San Marino score their first away goal in like 30 years or something? Why are they playing against Italy and England? Why? It's nonsense. It's patronising to them, and it's fucking waste of time for the bigger teams who could be actually putting on decent international football. Do I think China could become a force in international football, says Dichi Marco in the comments. I think their league could become quite popular if they do relax the foreigner rule a little bit more, because it's a really stringent foreigner rule at the moment. I think they're going to struggle because I think that their level of their domestic player is shite still. And that's going to take a while to get pulled up, I think. Will Salford go up this year? I don't know. I haven't looked at Rugby League this year. I've been neglecting it, and I feel bad. I'm sorry. Spain won because of Barcelona players, without a doubt. I agree with your comments about the US national team. I live in the US, and the only time people get into soccer is when the World Cup comes around. I can understand that. Remember when Sven would place goals as I'm just to play Gerrard and Lampard as the two midfielders? Huh? Scholes should have replaced Gerrard in midfield for England. Scholes was an actual midfielder. Gerrard, I don't really know what his best position was. Let's go all the way to the bottom. International football is boring when a top team plays a poor team. Correct. Fudgy says we should have a separate World Cup, etc. for smaller nations. Yeah, maybe we need a League Cup for smaller nations. Maybe we need a Europa League and a Champions League international football equivalent. Maybe that's the easiest thing. Stephen says, is CBJ back with the 23s? It's so confusing how he's still at Wolves. You can still play for the under 23s, and they're not going to play him for the first team. So you might as well bring him back. Yeah, Salford City. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't watched them. Oh, Salford. Oh, Football Club. Yeah, again, I don't know. I haven't watched them. Amarjit says, always false sense of confidence beating shit teams in qualifiers. Yeah, maybe that's it. Then getting humiliated in major tournaments become a repetitive, boring cycle. David Brent says, views on fans from different places to their club. I'm from Swansea but support Arsenal. I got no problem with it. As long as that's the only team that you've supported and you've supported them from being a child. I mean, I don't know how I feel about people that got into football later life. I guess that you can't really help how or when you get into football. Not everyone, gets dragged along with a dad as a toddler, did they? So as long as you've only ever supported one team, then that's cool. I think if you flip-flop your team, I think you're an arsehole, to be honest. So whatever. What are my thoughts on non-league football? This is from someone with a lot of letters and numbers in the name. Sorry, I can't read that out. Summit Hawk. What are my thoughts on non-league football, such as acts like FC United making their own club? I'm a massive non-league fan. When United away went to Salford and FC away this year. I went and watched FC for the first year that it was formed as part of my... I was on all the not-for-sale protests with the Glazers. The ones you can see all the banners was marching up and down at front of Old Trafford and all that lot. And after all the marches, we got sold. And I thought, can't just turn it in and just say, well, we got sold, let's just go back to normal. So I did a boycott for 12 months and I went and watched FC. I caved in late in the season and ended up going back watching United, and then obviously went permanently back because I was like, well, what am I going to do? They're not going to sell the fucking club. I'm just going to not go at United ever again. And I enjoyed watching... I watch non-league on a semi-regular basis anyway, teams around Tameside, whenever United ain't got a game on or whether I'm not got nothing to do and there's no youth games on, I'll go and watch them. But I got nothing against them, but I'm not massively for Salford or FC. I wish them both well. I don't wish them any animosity whatsoever, but, it is what it is. Who's my rugby league team? Salford Reds. Who I did manage to play for a few years as well, so, happy days. But I haven't really seen what they're keeping up with at the moment. Should be more like South American qualification, says Ryan Grindley in the comments. So there's a couple of things I was going to talk about as well today. So the first one is, we spoke to you on Thursday night. Those of you who joined us, let us know in the comments if you was there on Thursday night as well. And we spoke about doing a Patreon. Now the Patreon page has been launched. If you look in the comments, there's a link. If you're just watching this, it's patreon.com/Stephen Howson. And we've got some cool giveaways for you. So we've teamed up with John Sheehan from Sportrate Shop. We've already got some guy pledged $20 to us already as well, so we have started getting pledges in. We're 40% of the way to our first pledge, which is only $50. But we are getting there with the thing. Is it went live this morning, like 1 o'clock this morning. So if you want to help us make better content, if you want us to help deliver more documentaries, and mostly get on ex-athletes, talking ex-players, ex-boxers, maybe some current players, definitely get some current fighters. I'm talking legends of the game. Most of those that are on the after dinner circuit as well. Those sort of people we want to bring on the podcast, and to do that we need a little bit of help. So if you guys want to help us do that, then there's a Patreon page, and not only can you help us do that, but you can get some signed shit from them as well. That's one of the pledges that we're offering. And also we've got a secret Facebook group where you'll get early access, you'll get behind the scenes stuff, and you'll also get to steer who we go. So let's say I've got a choice of 4 people. We'll ask that question in the Facebook group. Anyone who's a Patreon, who can pledge or has pledged, will get to help us choose who we go for. You know, they might say, actually, I don't really want to speak to that guy, but yeah, get that guy on. That guy would be awesome. So we're going to toss ideas in there. We're thinking of doing this. We're thinking of doing that. We're thinking of getting this guy on. What do you guys think? And you can join that for $5. You can donate from $1 a month, which is like 80p. All of these podcasts and everything like that is going to be free forever. That's never going to change. But there's a few of you that have donated using the super chat here on YouTube. That's greatly appreciated. But some of you asked us for a more formal thing, how they can get involved and donate and help us make some sick content. And that's the way to do it. So patreon.com/Stephen Howson. Please head over there, check it out. Let us know what you think about it. Let us know if you've any ideas. Let us know if you've any suggestions or feedback. Anything you'd like us to try and maybe find or give away or as part of the pledges. Anything you'd like to see us maybe bring in or something like that. Let us know in the comments and please get involved. And hopefully we'll see some of you in the Patreon group. What's my opinion on Southern fans, says Jake? I'm not asked. It doesn't bother me. If Southern fans are of United fans or Southern fans and Northern fans in terms of just whatever, I don't know. Would I go to the World Cup if England make it? I'm hoping to go to the World Cup next year anyway. Not necessarily as a fan, just because it's an international football spectacle, and I'm a fan of football, so I want to go and check that out. Not necessarily because I think England are gonna do. Should I put the Patreon? I'll put the Patreon link in the chat. I think I can do that. So here's the link for those in the chat. It's in the description below if you'd still like to get in the mixer. What do I think of Wembley as a stadium, says Wills? I really like it, to be honest. I think it's a great stadium. It's not great for atmosphere, but it's excellent facility. Favourite sport that isn't MMA, football or rugby league? There's other sports. I like American football. I wish I'd have maybe done more American football. Done American football as a kid. I think I've enjoyed it. I'd like to get in the mix. Get Arsene Wenger on. He won't be that busy after this season. Well, if you guys pledge, maybe we'll do it. Patrick Ennis, I bestow on you an honorary Irish citizenship and you'll be henceforth known as Paddy Howson. There is Irish heritage, I think, in pretty much every fucking English. I mean, I've got blue eyes. I think that makes me Irish, doesn't it? On some point. I think I have got some Irish heritage on my granddad's side. But it's all from my great granddad to my granddad to my dad to me was all born in England, so I'm fucking English. But I do want to go back. I do want to go to Ireland and check out some hurling. I want to check out some of the football there. I just want to do some sick travelling all over the place. Speaking of which, I am going to Bulgaria tomorrow. Only got confirmed this afternoon. Conor McLeod's taking a shite while watching me. Nice one, wash your hands. I'm going to Bulgaria tomorrow afternoon, flying from Liverpool, and I'm going covering MMA there for a week, and I'm hoping to try and catch CSKA Sofia against Ludogorets on Saturday while I'm away. So hopefully that'll be bringing some more football vlogs from this week. There'll definitely be a travel vlog goes up on the podcast channel. Hopefully a football vlog from CSKA Sofia, which looks like a fucking mental stadium. They play at the Bulgarian Army Stadium. I think it's a 20,000 capacity. I can't wait to go. Looking forward to it. Wasn't going yesterday morning, so it's come around fast. So I've not really had much build up to look forward to it. So hoping it's going to be a good trip. I'm going to be out there with my mate Jim from MMA Latest. So we're going to be doing a podcast on Thursday night instead of doing the one that I usually do with Ben. Hopefully the internet's good enough to support streaming from our hotel room over there in Sofia. So we'll be doing an MMA related podcast for you on Thursday. I'm going to do a Snapchat Q&A tomorrow before I go, probably about 10 in the morning. So I'll turn the snaps on about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I'll see what that's saying. I'll see what you guys are saying in the comments. Gaelic football is decent, more passion than football. I'll watch them all, man. Darius says hurley is a man sport. Simon says City to win a Champions League or Liverpool to win a Premier League. Oh. No. Berbatov will be happy to see us, says Shrubnik. He's in London at the moment. But yeah, that's where Berbatov started his career, at CSKA Sofia. Bit of a boring fact there for you. We should have no draws even in the qualifiers. Penalty shootout at the end. That's not a bad shout. Hushy Love says, get Mike Tyson on. If we get enough, we will get Mike Tyson on. We might not get Mike Tyson on, but whatever. Who would I rather interview, McGregor or Cantona? Cantona. Get Katie Price on. The fuck do I want to get her on for? Get True Geordie on the podcast. We will try and get True Geordie on the podcast. That might be one of the guests that we end up getting on. And Makola we can get on, anytime we want. So head over to that as well on Patreon. See what you guys think. See if you've got any suggestions or anything along those lines for it. Let us know what you reckon. And hopefully some of you can drop something. What is my stance on LBGT porn? Watch whatever gets you off, mate. Don't hurt nobody. Gotta go. Be signing up on payday. Top man. Colin says definitely go watch a hurling match. Definitely going to be checking that out. Like I said, I would love to be able to do one little trip away every single month where I can go and take in sport and culture and ideally a bit of football and see what goes on. Jack Brown says the Coleman injury was horrific. You're not wrong, my mate. It was a bad one. Hopefully he's going to be quick to get back. Who's Becky G? I keep seeing someone saying something about Becky G. Who the fuck's Becky G? Jack Kelly says, what do I think about teams delving into other sports like Barcelona have a basketball team and a hockey team, etc. United used to have a basketball team in the 80s. I don't know if that was just a thing everybody did in the 80s or what. I don't know. A lot of teams are not just football teams; they're athletic clubs, aren't they? That have got a basketball arm and a cricket arm and all that. It's cool. Whatever. Zone Gaming says, get Stephen Howson on. Do you know my uncle's called Stephen Howson, and he used to be a professional race truck driver, and he was also a bit of an hooligan with United. I've been dying to get him on because I think that's a fucking brilliant podcast to listen to. Right, and everyone's saying, get Becky G on. Who the fuck is Becky G? Get the guy on who does Wheel of Wank. Oh, Paul Macon. Yeah, I can get Paul Macon on. How's Varela doing, says Rough Proof Rich. He broke his ankle or did his ankle ligaments in at Frankfurt and has only just recovered. I think he's played 1 or 2 games. Tyrone, shouldn't Manchester United have a women's team? They absolutely should. There's no reason why we shouldn't whatsoever apart from the being tight and not wanting to put money into it. Russia adding fan MMA to the World Cup. Did you see what one of their politicians said about it the other week? Fuck's sake. Howson, bring Trump on my podcast. He's not welcome, mate. And it's not because of his policies, even though I don't really like his policies. But can I just say, a man that eats a pizza crust first, a man that eats KFC with a knife and fork, and a man that eats his steak well done, let alone that fucking hairdo. Come on, America. What are you doing letting that guy have the keys? Oh my fucking God. Pizza's crust first. That's worse than pineapple. Can we put the pineapple yes no differences aside and just stay? What the fuck are you doing when you eat a pizza crust first? Like, doesn't it break the whole integrity structurally of the pizza? What are you doing? Do I watch cricket? No, I don't, mate, no. Considering you're called Jamaican Ganja Man, I'm going to take a punt and say you're from Jamaica. I would watch cricket in Jamaica, though. Not a problem. Where do the West Indies play? What's their home ground? Is it Trinidad? Or have I just made that? Is it Trinidad or Barbados? Is it one of those? I'd watch cricket there. Sitting out in the sun all day, getting drunk. I could probably be a cricket fan in those circumstances. Being in Manchester, it's probably not the best of places to be a cricket fan, is it? Would I take Ronaldo back at United? No, he's done now with all that sort of stuff. Have we just died? No? Has it just died? Oh, did I say Donald Trump and then the stream just died? What's going on, YouTube? That's some spooky ass shit. Did Donald Trump just fuck up this stream? Anyway, I think we'll wrap it up there because I've got some packing to do to get ready for tomorrow. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching us. Trump's obviously fucking hacked us because he's not happy about having shit hair and the pizzas and all that sort of shit. So anyway, that'll do. Thank you guys for watching. Check us out on Patreon. Let us know what you think. And I'll see you later. Russia adding fan MMA to the World Cup. Did you see what one of their politicians said about it the other week? Fuck's sake. Howson bring Trump on my podcast. He's not welcome, mate. And it's not because of tight and not wanting to put money into it. Russia adding fan MMA to the World Cup. Did you see what one of their politicians said about it the other week? Fuck's sake. Howson bring Trump on my podcast. He's not welcome, mate. And it's not because of his policies.